Shauna, big fan of the podcast. I just had a question on how to support my mum who's going through menopause.
Jazz, thank you so much for the great question. So I have 5 hints or tips for you how you can support your mum. So the first one is to start with educating yourself. So there are lots of really great resources out there in terms of podcasts, books, YouTube videos. I will put some of these in the show notes to give you some examples of some of the texts and podcasts that I think that are really helpful. But if you can educate yourself, education is everything. And you can probably also maybe educate your mum as well. So maybe if you listen to some podcasts that you think are really good, then you can push them your mum's way or buy some of the books and you can read them and then give them to your mum to read as well, because that's going to be a really beautiful gesture that you really care and that you are so invested in her well-being that you've gone to that trouble. And I know as a mum myself, I would really appreciate that. So that's my first tip. Educate yourself with good information. The second thing is that at this age and stage, most women have been literally juggling everything. In this day and age, often women work, have kids, and are running a household and are constantly juggling everything. And it's always probably been on a little bit of a knife edge, but they've gone okay. Throw the perimenopause into the mix with poor sleep, anxiety, feeling hot, not feeling themselves, feeling exhausted, and suddenly things can just really fall over. So if you're a teenager or a young adult who still lives at home, or even if you don't, maybe just try and help out a little bit more around the house, pick up some of the slack, and maybe just don't point out maybe whenever there's a pile of ironing why she hasn't been doing it, because quite frankly, women at this stage are often a little bit overwhelmed and they really need their family to step up and help a little bit more. So that's my tip number 2. My third tip is that at this stage, a lot of women are struggling with brain fog and memory problems. And I have to say that I often have teary women in my clinic telling me how their partner or their children have been kind of mocking them or making fun of them, because they will often use the wrong name. In fact, I had one lady telling me that she kept calling her son the dog's name, and she was feeling pretty stressed out about her memory lapses. So there's no doubt that these are very, very common at this stage, but please remember that this is a thing that really freaks women out. They're freaking out that they've got a brain tumor, there's something really wrong. They feel really silly because they're not remembering things, they can't find things. So first of all, don't mock. And the second thing is try and be helpful. So maybe just try and help there be somewhere where phone and keys can be put so they're easier to find. So just little things like that might be really helpful. The other thing I would say is that my fourth tip would be that a lot of women at this stage also develop anxiety. Some have had anxiety their whole lives and it's just got worse. But for many women, they've never been anxious before. And during this time, because of all the hormonal changes, there can be this awful anxiety. Suddenly women can feel like they're really anxious driving the car, anxious going to new places. And even women who really have been very, very super confident in social situations suddenly have no more confidence to do things. So maybe you could offer to drive your mum to the city if she needs to go, or you could offer to tag along with her to an event that she seems a little bit hesitant to go to. So all of those things just to give a little bit of background support for her feeling anxious. And then my final tip would be is probably a little bit contradictory. So on the one hand, I would say give your mum a little bit of space. There's a lot going on, a lot of physical and emotional adjustments to make. And there is definitely a lot of societal impacts of becoming post-menopausal, and there seems to be still a hangover of a stigma around it. So definitely give mum a bit of space to come to terms with everything that's going on. But the flip side of that is, I think, just to make sure that she's not feeling isolated or alone. So don't make that space too much, and make sure that you're checking in on a regular basis, sending texts, being very reassuring that you do know that the same person is still there, your awesome mum is still very much there and loved, and that she has your support, And the fact that you've even asked this question tells me that you're obviously an amazing person. And I know there's lots of other daughters out there who are also worried about their mums. So hopefully those little tips can help you help your mum transition in a really safe and comfortable way.